And we're back with more News Talks, Saga 960. So very glad you could join us on this edition of the Mark Petroni Show. Well, we had such a terrific conversation with Jamie Saleh last week. Lots of response from listeners saying, hey, bring her back. Like I got to be arm twisted. Heck, I'm happy to have Jamie back. Here's an outspoken Olympic champion who's a huge supporter of free speech, who has pushed back against cancel culture in her home province of Alberta and beyond, and is as courageous a person as you're likely to meet. So I welcome Jamie on the show, coming to us from the great province of Alberta. Are you in Calgary right now, or are you in Edmonton?
Close. I'm in Cochrane, just visiting with my family. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Thanks for having me on again, Mark.
What a pleasure. I mean, you've got so much on the go right now, and I don't want to spill the beans. I know you're not in a position to spill the beans.
Not quite yet.
Lips are sealed. Lips are sealed. Okay. But
well, we can talk a little bit about what the idea is, and I think have you interviewed Theo yet?
No, we've had just a couple of brief exchanges and texts.
Okay,
because he's probably the one who's thinking, "No, Jamie, do not let the cat out of the bag." But I'm looking forward to having him on the show as well. But I know you guys got something big planned.
Yeah, well, he approached me a while ago to be a part of. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be a channel or it's just like a network. I'm not exactly sure what to call it, but it's a truther platform where we can all be. So it would be like anyone that we all listen to basically would go there, as long as they are authentic truthers and not some of those fake ones out there, or the opposition, if you will. And so when he approached me on this, I thought at first, I don't know if I really want to do that. And then he went and did an interview with Tucker and met with a group down there. I'll just say very big names. And they want this to be in Canada. And I said, Theo, count me in. And he's like, welcome to the team. So that's pretty much all I can tell you guys. And I'm not sure when this is going to begin, when we're going to start. But we are having meetings this week. I'm going to meet with him. And we're also meeting in Canada Day at the Whistle Stop Cafe, one of the cafes that wouldn't shut down in Alberta when all of this went down and they got in big trouble. But there's a lot of people that are going to be there. We're going to be interviewing some people. So things will get kicked off. I think once we get going, it'll be pretty quick. It'll be very exciting. And you know what? It's just our community is growing, as you know, Mark, by the day. More and more and more people are waking up. And this is not about being vaccinated or not. This is about seeing what's really going on in front of our eyes.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. You're in the midst of a race for the leadership of the United Conservative Party as well. I see Danielle Smith, who was the former leader of the Wild Rose Party before she left politics, got into media, and now she's going to take another run at this. That's some of the things that she's talking about, is that we never lock down. You know, Alberta's never going to lock down no matter what. And she's saying, look, we know that Ottawa wants to push Alberta in that direction. They're doing the same thing right across the country. And so the idea that she's coming out and saying no more lockdowns, I think she's carving out a little niche for herself as she makes a run for that. Are you keeping an eye on who's going to be the next leader of the United Conservative Party? Is this something that you're following on the political side?
Not following it no, I'm not following it very much, actually. But I did meet with her for lunch last week, and she's lovely. I really like her personality. I love her boldness. I love her bravery. I love everything about her. But of course, the criticism is, we've heard that before. Kenny said he wouldn't be locking down again. Kenny said this. Kenny said that. So I almost wonder if she needs to come up, if she's really truly meaning this. Maybe she needs to come up with a different way of saying it. And I'm not sure exactly how that would be, because that was literally the criticism on social media. Everyone wrote on my page, because I reposted something she had said. And it was like, didn't Kenny say that? Oh, we've heard this before. It was just repeating what we've all heard. Now, the other criticism was something that she said recently about, if she was to get in, what would you do with Dina Hinshaw? And of course, all of us that are awake would like her to be fired and like.
She's the chief health officer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, she'd let her finish her term. And that wasn't the answer that we wanted to hear either. So, we'll see. I'm not saying I don't like her. I think she's lovely. She wants to build a bridge between what has been a divide, right? The vaccinated versus the unvaccinated. She wants to build that bridge between us because it's really, we know it's not about this. She wants to build a better Alberta. And so I look forward to meeting with her again and getting a sense of really what else she's got in store or planned for Alberta. But right now, it seems like anything would be better than what we have.
Yeah. And let's hope the NDP doesn't come back because you'll have to leave, Jamie.
And I will. And that's the thing. I will leave. And everyone's going, get out of Canada. I go, where are we all going to go? Somebody's got to live here, and we do love our country and I love our province. But
of course,
this is such I can't swear, but it's a crap show. Like a clown show. I like that word better, actually. It's a clown show. This is
it's a Trudeau clown show.
Yes.
He doesn't get a whole lot of love out in Alberta, but he's not getting much love anywhere.
Anywhere. No, not even from the Americans.
Oh no, listen, I'm down here. So
I know
all they want to talk about is that commie up there.
I know.
Fidel Castro's kid.
Yep.
Taking over Canada. All right. So I know you can't go any further in the media. You've given us a little snip of it, which is really cool. But talk about the importance of it. You've got a federal government that is pushing for censorship, online censorship. So no wonder the Americans who are talking to you about this say, you got to do something. This is craziness. Well, you can't have government regulating and censoring the internet. I mean, you've got to have free speech. And 100%. So to me, this speaks to what you're doing here, saying, hey, let's have free media where people can access the truth without having to deal with government censorship.
Well, and that's the whole plan, is to build this platform so that we cannot be censored. They cannot do anything about it. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to make this happen, but I trust the team that Theo's with and the team that we're meeting with in the States here, hopefully the end of July, beginning of August. And I want you to trust me when I say they're big personalities, like big. So if we are being backed by these kind of people, I trust myself. Like I trust that this is going to be something really incredible. That no one will be untouchable in that sense. Like we won't be able to be censored. They can't cancel us. They can't deplatform us. No more of this. Like this is one thing, Mark, that I think the sleepers are going to be so upset about. I mean, I know they're hearing that things are being censored, but in some of the comments that I hear is that, well, it's to protect us from all the lies and the conspiracy theories. But when they know the magnitude of what's been censored and the people that have really, really world-renowned doctors and virologists, scientists around the world have been speaking out from the beginning of this and have got completely deplatformed, censored, vilified, you name it. You look up Dr. Christiane Northrup, you look up even Dr. Yeadon, who used to work for the Pfizer. They're now calling everyone anti-vaxxers and just horrible names on Wikipedia. And I'm just like, yeah, but 2 years ago, they were the best doctor and scientist in the world. It's just bananas.
Yeah. And now there's going to be the introduction of a third shot in order to have people qualify as fully vaxxed, right? So those who had 2 shots thinking, okay, we're done. I got my 2. I took a couple for the team and everything's going to be fine. Well, now you got to get a 3rd shot. And if you don't, once they bring back the travel mandates and the lockdowns, guess who's getting screwed? The same people who got the other 2 are going to be lumped in with the people who are supposedly the anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, anti-vaxxer. I'm vaccinated since a child, so I am not an anti-vaxxer, I'll tell you that. But I've learned a lot about all of this in my awakening. So, which is the most important, is wake more people up, right? You're going to get more people that are going to go, okay, come on. And it's because I know in Canada, we're pretty highly vaccinated. I've heard in the US, 70% did not get it. That's very high. And in Canada, we're the opposite. And I'm not spewing perfect numbers here, but we're about 70% with one, something like 60% with two. And I don't even know what the third one is. It's a lot lower, but yeah, people are just not going to want to do it. And I know people, well, let's even talk about like how many people got coerced to get it to work, right? What are we talking? 20%, 30%? And then you got another probably 20 to 30 that got it just to travel. Like I have all my family, they didn't really necessarily care to get it, but so many of my family just was like, well, we want to, we want life to go back to normal and we want to travel. Like
Yeah,
nobody
I think that
excited.
to me is the saddest of the bunch. This will
Exactly.
probably end up getting me booted off YouTube, but I don't care. But I mean,
Right. My bad.
no, don't be. No, because I'm asking you about it and I want this to come out. And if they boot me, so be it.
Number that
But
got get it. High number.
yeah, a lot of people, I mean, people that I know, people that I love, people close to me
Mm.
got it because they were bullied into it. They were coerced into doing it. And now they're going to be coerced into getting the third shot,
Yeah.
which absolutely sucks. And the government doesn't care. It's like,
No,
you
they want
know,
gone. The whole point of this is to depopulate. And, we know I've followed enough of this whole agenda for the last 2 years, or a year and a half, I should say, and understand from all the doctors that are speaking out about the discoveries that they're finding about these shots. Like they weren't created to protect us from this so-called virus and at all. And you can see even in the Pfizer documents that they said that there's only 12% efficacy for 1 week. And then it's like it plummets 12%.
yeah, this is according to their own documents. I
Their own
mean, I
doc-
don't know about any agenda that's behind it. I'd like to see more talk about that, but I have seen some scientists like Dr. Robert Malone, whom you've become aware of, one
yeah.
of the most outspoken. This is a guy
Well,
who co-developed the mRNA technology. He has
yes.
come out and he's raised a specter
Yes.
of hidden documents. So a
Yes.
lot of the information, of course, we know that Big Pharma tried to hide that information for 75 years.
Yeah.
Why would they do that? Why would they try to prevent
Yeah.
the documents from being released for 75 years? Thank goodness that a court ordered them to release those documents. And then since then, you've had people like Naomi Wolf and others come out,
Yes.
do all this work, and they've had, thousands of volunteers pour through these documents because a lot of them are pretty heavy medical documents in order to reveal the documents, reveal the information.
Mm-hmm.
Because, of course, the mainstream media, they don't want to hear about it, do they, Jane?
They will not talk about it because they don't want everyone knowing what they're really about. And that was the biggest, like when you watch any video I actually posted on my Instagram page, Dr. Yeadon talking with, and I'm forgetting her name right now, but she's been on the Stu Peters show. And he just said like, there's 12 accounts that we've been lied to. 12. That they're safe, they're not effective, they're not. Like you go on this, go watch it. It's on my, I think I put it on all my platforms, but it's on my Instagram page, my Twitter page, and my Facebook. And it's just, Dr. Yeadon was, I believe, a CEO for Pfizer, and he used to make the vaccines. He is saying, do not take this.
Yeah, and now they're trying to give it to like babies. They're trying to give it to like 6-month-old babies. It's absolutely outrageous. But you as an athlete, you must see some of the athletes dropping, like flies. We're talking about football players, with a football player from the Ravens recently.
Yep.
Soccer players.
Yes, suddenly.
And it's just out of the blue. I mean, this must really trouble you as an athlete yourself.
Well, I've seen some numbers. Again, the public on that are following mainstream are not seeing this. And so, of course, we know where to look for the truth. And there were something like over 1,000 athletes have been injured and like 700 of them have died. It was really, really disturbingly high. And it's always this mysterious death, mysterious or sudden, they're calling it SADS, right? Like sudden adult death syndrome. Pardon me. Like athletes, when have we ever seen a mass, even having side effects, right? Like when are we seeing athletes having myocarditis all of the sudden? And whatever the other, I don't even know the medical terms for all these problems that they're having, but even just these deaths. Like it'd be different if there was one or two, but we're seeing hundreds. And I do find it very interesting, and I've had a few discussions with some friends about this. Why is it that soccer players, it's like majority, and remember that tennis tournament, I believe it was in, was it New York, where there were 15 athletes who had to stop because they were having heart problems?
Uh,
There's been that. Yeah, but there's like, I find in the NHL just finished, there's not, I haven't heard of one guy, even on our Truther News, who has had a problem. I just find it really interesting. You got guys that are exerting themselves very similarly to like, you know, a soccer player. I know they're running the whole time, but why is it that the soccer players are having major issues or dying and the NHL guys aren't? I found that really, I'm like trying to figure this out, but
yeah, Jamie Saleh joining us on Saga 960. Well, your friend Theo probably has some thoughts about NHL players. Isn't it possible that a lot of them, well, we know that at least one of them tried to get out of taking it and then
well,
got caught?
that's where I was going to go. I'm wondering if a lot of them
Okay, are not taking it. So
were,
a lot more are not taking it and saying that they did.
or yeah, because we know that in Europe they've now been there's been a huge bust of politicians, elites athletes, whatever, that have been caught with fake passes. But you know what? If I was an athlete right now, I got to admit, I think I would have done that too. If I was awake, I just, because you love your sport so much, and you don't want to put this in you just because you have to. You know, I
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, if you're a high paid athlete with connections, you know, I mean, we're hearing about these baseball guys whom we know were reticent or very coy about whether they took it or not, came out, expressed some reservations about it, and they couldn't come to Toronto. All of a sudden, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm here now, you know.
Yeah, how come?
Uh, the Aaron Judges of the world,
Yeah.
you know, all of a sudden, yeah, I'm playing, you know, all good. I mean, is a guy like that going to do something against his will just so he can play in Toronto, or would he just get somebody to sign a piece of paper somewhere to say, yeah,
I
it's all good, you know, the paperwork is all in order here. And
it's
when you're as rich as people in Major League Baseball and hockey and the rest of it, you can do a lot.
it's unfair. It's incredibly unfair that, you know, that the athletes would be able to do that. I'm on the public side with that. I just think that you know what would have been really cool actually, Mark, if more and more people that didn't want to get it really just stood up and said, we're not doing it. Like how many teams would have had how many missing players, you know, or athletes that didn't go to the Olympics because they're like, I'm not buying into this. Like it just would have been really cool and interesting to see how many athletes were on that side of it that really didn't want to do it
Yeah,
and just stood
absolutely.
and said, no way.
While we're on the topic of sport, what's your take on the movements around female sports and the trans issue? We're seeing groups like FINA internationally now coming out and
Yeah.
making decisions. No, we're not going to have anybody who went through male puberty compete with women.
Yeah.
And swimmers now running into some barriers. If you're a Leah Thomas, I mean, your friend Linda Blade has been on the show. She
Yeah.
came out and said, you know, Leah Thomas of medals won earlier because those were unfair. You saw Leah destroying the field by 38 seconds.
Oh,
You know, it was like, you know, people were looking at these people on the podium, you know, with a couple of trans people, you know, first and second, and then a biological woman and her baby, you know, winning the bronze.
yeah.
And it's like, wow. So
I
you
know.
like to see the movement shift now. Are you seeing it happen fast enough? And what do you say to women who have been competing for years and then they get in a situation where they might have to compete against a trans athlete and you think, well, I guess I'm playing for second place, you know?
Well, again, it's kind of similar to well, I was going to say the passport thing, but Yeah, it just seems like incredibly unfair. I just that was not a good analogy at all. But and now my dog is beside me, wants to
That's all
be
right.
called in.
No, what's your dog's name?
This is Cooper.
Hey,
he's
Cooper.
he's always right beside me when I do interviews,
Aw.
barking
What?
outside. But no, I think it's incredibly unfair, and I know that there are a lot of people. Like, I'm very inclusive. I'm a very inclusive person. I'm all about fairness, though, and um, we talked about this last week, I think that, or the week before. I think it's really important that if these athletes want to, these transgender people want to compete, then they should have their own event. That's how I feel. I have no problem with them competing at similar events, but they need to have their own events. Just, it's not fair for a biological female to compete against a transgender woman. Like
Yeah,
that.
I agree. I
And
mean,
if anybody, like, I would love to hear the argument, because
yeah.
everyone says, why is this even a discussion? So I'd love to hear how people would support that. Like,
In figure skating, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, and I don't want to put my foot in it, but is it possible that a woman might have certain advantages with moving a certain way over a male, or not? Is that one of the few
well,
sports, like not swimming, not weightlifting, but is figure skating maybe one of those sports was kind of on the line where a woman, because of her increased flexibility, might have an advantage or not?
well, it depends who you're talking about. We've seen males compete at the Olympic level that are incredibly flexible. They're really tiny. You've got a lot of the Asian athletes that are quite tiny. I've seen men that are very, very flexible. Um, I think it has something to do with even the muscle mass, and obviously when a woman goes through puberty, yes, our bodies change. We get hips, but I don't know if there's advantages really being a female that way. I wasn't prepared to answer this question. I haven't thought about it because I'm sitting.
Well, I guess I threw you a curveball,
Good.
but it was just, it just popped into my head, and I figured,
But
if anybody would know, it would be you, because of course you're an
yeah,
Olympian, you're a champion.
think about a man and how much stronger generally a man is. So you watch the men and the women compete. The men jump higher, they're faster, they're just stronger, right? But now if they
I'm just trying to think if there was a trans skater
yeah,
with a biological male
yeah.
doing a couple
Oh, pairs.
pairs. What would that be like? I mean,
Oh, wow. Okay, so you got a biological male skating with a trans woman.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
eventually it would happen.
well, it would
Eventually,
if we allowed it. But
yeah, I
hey,
mean,
you know
if
what?
this isn't if this isn't stopped,
They would be incredibly strong. They'd probably be unbeatable. Like because look at how strong they would be. And like I said, there's lots of males that are really flexible in sports, especially in like gymnastics, figure skating, those sports where you need to be flexible. There's lots of men that are. And so it's not like you lose your flexibility when you're transitioning to a female. Gosh, they would be like, okay, first of all, the visual, I just can't do it. Thanks for the humor this morning.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Like,
I mean, I know in tennis it has.
don't want to see.
You won't be able to get that image out of your head now.
Well, it's just not right. Like, come on. We have to be organic, authentic here, right? Like,
well, it hasn't happened in tennis yet. Like, I mean, professional tennis, but you got to figure. Serena Williams herself was asked, well, how would you do against the men? And the answer is 5-0, 5-0, or whatever. This is just whatever the score is. I mean, she admitted it. She's not going to go against, forget the Fedorovs or the Rafael Nadals and all these other people. You're down to like a 200-300 seed. Maybe, you might be competitive at that range, but she knew that, and she acknowledged it.
Yeah, I've seen her in person. I remember being with Dave when we were up in this VIP lounge thing, and she came in, and I was just like her legs were double the size of Dave's, and her back end was double the size of Dave's. Like, I was shocked. And I'm not saying that a woman can't be like very strong and built like that, but I was just like, holy moly. It's kind of like what you see with the linebackers. It was shocking because in on TV, it doesn't look like that, but in person, I was so shocked, and I thought, well, no wonder she just cleans house. She's so powerful.
Yeah, exactly. Even her sister couldn't stand up to her after a while.
After a
But
while,
but I mean, age catches up to everybody.
no, it does.
Caught up to me, that's for sure.
Oh man, yeah, no, I am not coming back. Sorry if everybody wants me to.
Oh, really? Is there talk?
No, I got
I mean,
are you ever gonna skate again? I go, are you kidding me? No, thanks.
do you work out? I mean, do you get on the ice and
No, I
do
don't skate at all actually. I do workouts. I have like a trainer I work out with twice a week. So I do my best to stay in shape. But I'm not like athlete material anymore. No. I mean, I have 2 kids and 45 years old. I love being fit. And I'm very active, but definitely not going to be skating in a show anytime soon.
Are you involved in the coaching end of things at all?
No,
Do young skaters come to you and say, Jamie, can you train me? Can you teach me,
no, I left skating about 10 years ago.
And that was it.
That was it. Yeah. Yeah. And I was life coaching for a while, and I put that on pause last year. Through my awakening, I was really, really struggling to focus on work with just my belief system was so rattled. I thought, well, this is not good to be coaching other people, even though, I thought I had a very good program to help people with their goals and their visions. And I loved what I did, and I loved my clients. I just needed this time to really actually dive into, with my belief system getting completely shaken up. I also, through that discovery of the truths of things, I realized I had a lot of trauma from childhood and adolescent years. So I did a lot of healing this last year, which was the best gift I could give myself.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, best thing I did.
Maybe a book is in the works.
Yeah.
Dare I suggest it? I mean,
You want me to write my book?
sure. It's your story though. You tell the story.
Right.
I'll put the words down on paper for you.
Yeah, we talked about if you can't write an authentic story, then don't write it, because we've had stuff written. We were going to have a made for TV movie, and it was totally not our story. Like the whole beginning was made up. And I just remember reading the script going, this isn't me. And I thought, well, I don't want to be a part of this. And we literally kiboshed it. We said, absolutely not. So if I write a book, it's going to be very real. And, of course, everyone's got a great story. Everyone's got something to talk about. And I even laugh. I go, I could write a book on what I've gone through this year.
Absolutely.
Pretty wild, and like many of us.
And you've got a media future ahead. And people just stay tuned. What's that?
I don't know if I like the word media. I'm a little tainted right now, but yes, true.
Well, not all media is bad.
No, they're not. No, I know.
Okay.
No, I'm with you on that. I'm just, I don't want people to have in their head, oh, more of that kind of stuff. And it's like, no,
this is different. It's different, right?
Yeah.
So we just have to wait.
Yeah.
Some kind of an announcement. What, in the next?
I would say or so.
A month. Perfect.
Give Theo and I a month.
Okay, you and Theo.
Yeah.
Big announcement coming up.
Well, I hope so. Yeah.
All right, Jamie Saleh coming to us from Cochrane in the beautiful province of Alberta. Thank you so much. Great talking to you,
Mark.
All right. And we got to take a break. Back with more on News Talk Saga 960 and the Mark Petronis Show after this.